everyone, it's Miss Brandon from the Benjamin branch of the Greensboro Public Library. Today I'd like to share with you a book that I recently read that really made me think and feel. When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jamieson and Omar Mohamed. This book is a 2020 finalist for the National Book Award in the Young People's Literature category. It was created as a collaboration between Victoria Jamieson, a graphic novel author and illustrator of several books, and Omar Mohamed, an American citizen who spent most of his childhood in a refugee camp after fleeing violence in his home country of Somalia. More about the book. The book is a memoir in graphic novel form. A memoir is the story of a person's life written by that person or by that person with the help of a professional author. It's a lot like an autobiography, but there are a few key differences. Both an autobiography and a memoir are written by the subject or by the subject with the help of a professional writer. An autobiography, however, usually covers the person's whole life, while a memoir usually covers a specific time period or a particular theme or element of a person's life. An autobiography also usually focuses on dates and times and facts, whereas a memoir usually tries to capture emotions, internal growth, and life lessons. This memoir covers several years in the life of the author, Omar Mohamed, as he and his brother grow up in the Dadaab refugee complex, and as Omar struggles with feelings of hopelessness and loss and learns to celebrate small joys, deep friendships, and faith. More about Omar and his younger brother Hassan. As young children, under the age of 5, Omar and Hassan had to run from their home and village when men with guns showed up and killed their father. In the panic, they were separated from their mother and had to depend upon the kindness of neighbors who were also fleeing the violence. After days and days of walking, they ended up in what has since become one of the largest refugee complexes in the world, Dadaab Refugee Complex, home to over 200,000 refugees, some of whom have been living there for over a decade. Omar, the older brother, takes very good care of Hassan, who can only say hoyo and sometimes has frightening seizures. Thankfully, a loving Somali woman, Fatuma, who lost all her children in the violence, becomes their guardian and foster mother. So what happens in the book? Omar says that one of the worst things about living in the refugee camp is that it can be very boring. He says, "Every day in a refugee camp is the same, except when it's not. Sometimes your life can change in an instant, but you can never be sure if it's a good change or a bad change." Throughout the memoir, Omar shares when there are bad changes, there are no changes, and there are good changes. So, why did I like the book? Well, reading the story about two young boys who grew up half a world away from me, experiencing the worst of war and hunger and loss, well, reading that gave me a new perspective. Perspective is how one feels, thinks, or reacts to a person or a situation. It can shape one's attitude. Gaining a new perspective means being able to think or add another person's point of view and how that other person might feel, think, and react to the same situation in different ways. For instance, it can be annoying to wait in line at the grocery store. But after reading this book and learning that Omar and other refugees had to walk a long way and wait in long lines every day just for water, and to do the same to pick up flour, oil, and salt, that being all the food that was available, well, it doesn't seem so annoying to wait in line to buy fruits and vegetables and cookies after all. Additionally, I appreciate that during the course of the book, we're able to watch Omar grow and gain new perspective himself. When he starts school, he notices that there are more boys than girls, but he doesn't think about why. Later in the story, at a time when he's feeling sorry for himself and sad, he realizes why there are fewer girls. They're being required to stay home and help do chores and take care of younger children. And even the girls who do come to school don't stick around at lunchtime and play with the other boys. Instead, they have to run home, take care of children, and help cook before coming back for afternoon lessons. He realizes that although his situation is difficult, there are other people whose situation is as difficult, if not more difficult, than his own. I truly admire Omar's growth and what he's able to accomplish. Although the story stops when Omar and Hassan leave the camp, there is an endnote that tells you what happens to Omar and Hassan afterward and some of their loved ones. And now for the twist. As discussed, this book is a memoir and not an autobiography because it deals with a specific time period in the author's life. This past year has been an interesting and unusual one. It might make the perfect time period about which to write your own memoir. Today I'm going to share a few memoir writing prompts with you that might inspire some writing of your own. Thanks for joining me, and don't forget, the Greensboro Public Library is open online all day, every day, with downloadable ebooks, audiobooks, movies, music, and more. Thank you.